Hello everybody, welcome to another video from Average Shaman, and today we are looking at the basic M Plus guide to Mr. the Feral Kitty. You're probably wondering, but Average Shaman, why aren't you covering enhancement shamans? You main an enhancement shaman. I have alts, and I play them quite frequently, and at the moment Mr. Kitty is by far my fucking favourite alt to play at the present time. It is so fucking fun. So fucking fun. I didn't think it would be that fun. Do you know, like, I didn't think it'd be that good. But once you get the basics down, it is really, really enjoyable. And it's nice just running around like a cat going, meow, and shit like that. It's lovely. Yeah, I went a bit overboard there. Anyway, it's fun. But kicking off with this guide, we're going to look at simply talents. Now, Feral, pardon me. You are going to be kicking it off with Sabretooth. This, on the second line, you can pretty much go whichever one you want. Anyone you want. It does not matter. I prefer Tiger Dash. Just because I like getting around quickly, but then Wild Charge is really good. It adds a stun as well, and it also gives you other things for your other shapeshifts. So either way, it's totally up to you. I run Tiger Dash because of personal preference, but sometimes I do run Renewal on high keys, just because it's quite nice. 1.5 minutes, 30% second. It is pretty nice, but again, it's up to you. On this one, the only one you're really going to be going is Balance Affinity. Purely because Typhoon is really good. It just blasts adds away. Mainly good for Spiteful weeks, Typhoon. But it's just the bog standard range that you get. It increases all your abilities range by 3 yards. It's really nice. There is some synergy with Heart of the Wild, going Boom It and then using Convoke in Night Fae if you want. But yeah, you're not really going to get the most out of Restoration. You're not hardly going to get anything out of Guardian. So the bog standard is Balance Affinity. After that, it's another one. This is, again, personal choice. I like to go Mass Entanglement because I like to keep things together. And it was really useful last week, which was Spiteful week. This week, I'll probably keep it. It's just a bog standard. I just keep it. Apart from that, you can run Heart of the Wild, like I said, because these two do have affinity with each other. You pop Heart of the Wild, you go into Balance Affinity, then you Convoke for some nasty numbers. But if you don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine. You're not going to lose out on much DPS, to be honest. You're just not. On the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th row, the 41, you're going to run Soul of the Forest. This is your finishing moves, grant 5 energy per combo point spent and deal 5% increased damage. This just adds more into your finishing combo point. It just adds more bite to your things. And obviously it increases that as well. These two synergize really well. Ferocious Bite is already increased by 20%. Now it's increased by 5%, and per combo point you get 5 energy back. It's GG. You can run Savage Roar if you really want, but I just find it finicky in M+. And going Incarnation of the Jungle, again, I find this finicky because this one really helps you out, like churning out the Ferocious Bites really quickly. Whereas on the other hand, this, you gain some extra time, you gain an extra 10 seconds, and your cat abilities cost 20% less. And you can cast Prowl once. So it's really nice, but you mainly get more bang out your buck on that on single target. From my personal experience, you gain more out of that on single target. But in M+, if you want to go to that, you know, it's decent, but I just generally prefer that. And the numbers throughout my keys, I get better numbers with Soul of the Forest. And with the 6th line, you are going to go Primal Wrath, guys. Primal Wrath. It's going to be your main spender in M+. If you are in AoE, you are going to be using that as a finisher. End of. Just end of. It puts a rip on everything and it deals 1.7k. Obviously, it's not a flat. That's a flat 1.7k. Your mastery and your verse and whatever, and your agility, it puts that puppy up. But yep. And then the next one, this is a bit hit and miss, guys. I love Moments of Clarity. I think I gain more out of Moments of Clarity because your Omens of Clarity triggers 50% more often and accumulates up to 2 charges and increases the damage of your next shred, thrash, or swipe by 15%. And it increases your energy by 30. So I just really like this. I think it smooths out the rotation. However, Blood Talons is good. You've just got to remember, guys, to use 3 different abilities. So if you're going to open her with a shred, lob a thrash, and then lob a rake in there, there's your 3 abilities. And your next big spender, your next ferocious bite is increased by 30%. They do stack as well, so you like 25. So you do the maths. But I really like this. I think it hits harder and you gain more out of it. Again, it's personal preference. I know a couple of Pharaoh Druids that are like, oh no, run Blood Talons, but then on the Discord, I've had a few of them going, no, I run Moments of Clarity. So again, this is really going to be, it's up to personal choice, but this is my build. Moving on to that, we are going to go Lego. There is only one Lego, and it's pretty much the Frenzy brand. You're going to have it on your wrists because it's the best place to put it. With crit verse, crit gem on it, and this basically puts during Berserk, it causes your targets to bleed for an additional 150% of the damage over 8 seconds. So this just comes out as another bleed dot. It's called Frenzy Brand. Towards the end of the dungeon, it probably does close to 1 mil, if not a little bit more. It does scale off your mastery. So that's something to consider. But basically, any time you go into Berserk, which should be, if you time your Berserks well and you've got a really good tank that's really good at doing semi-big pulls and stuff like that, you should be having a Berserk like every 1 minute 30 with an every 1 minute. Give or take, because sometimes the numbers are really fudgy, but it's that quick. So you get a lot of bleeds off. Going into the Covenants now, guys. The Covenants are semi-personal choice here. Semi-personal choice. The best one I have had is Night Fae, and going the Near Soulbind for that extra mastery every convoke. But it's really up to you. We can run pretty much whatever we want, really. Like, I don't really like Ravenous Frenzy on a Feral Druid with Venfear. I find it clunky. Because if you slow down on your energy regeneration for that split 3 seconds and then you get stunned by your own shit, it's just like, well, I've lost all that crit, that haste, that whatever. But it's quite nice if you've got a tank that does a big pull, you get some whatever, you've got a bloody roar on, and then you're just like proper churning out. You can do some really big boy numbers. But I just find it a bit finicky and a bit too like, well, I've got to get this perfect, otherwise I've fucked it up. And Frenzy Brand comes off like every 3 minutes, so it doesn't really sync up properly with your new Berserks with your 4 set. But that's totally up to you. Another good one is Necrolord. That's really nice. It's mainly sustained damages, Necrolord. But again, it's nice. It's good for bleeds. You need a high mastery if you're gonna go Necrolord, because the Covenant ability that you put on them increases all the bleed damage by 30%. So if you've got like a shitload of mastery, Necrolord is going to be your boy. If you've got more verse and crit, then Night Fae is going to be your boy. Again, you can go Kyrian as well. I do go Kyrian from time to time. Kyrian's kind of it's an odd one. It's an odd one. Like I find it fun. Just doing random as fuck pulls and then just spamming my Kindred affinity, which buffs the person that you've got it on, gives you like a shitload of stats. So it's just really nice. I wouldn't be really pushing really high keys with Kyrian. I'd be using Night Fae for that. But it is fun and it's enjoyable and it's viable. You do some nice damage. In terms of damage, you probably Night Fae's on top. Probably Night Fae and Necrolord are like this, depending on the key. because Necrolord, sorry, can be really dirty with them bleed damage and the mastery. But I just think, for me, it goes Night Fae, Necrolord, Kyrian, then Venf at the bottom, just purely because of how finicky I find it. Again, this is all personal thing, but this is what I'm running. For conduits, you want to be going Taste of Blood, no brainer. Front to the pack, again, no brainer for me. Well-honed Instincts, this you can pretty much go whatever. If you want to put a regrowth, a frenzied rejuve or whatever, that's absolutely fine. I just prefer this one. And then you're going to go Carnivorous Instinct because it's just so good. And then you're going to go Conflux of Elementals, go to the left here, and Condensed Atmosphere. That is literally it. Apart from these, I never run these. It's very, very niche and whatnot. I mean, this can be good. Koran can be good with the damage an enemy before they damage you, increases your chance to critical strike by 25% for 5 seconds. That can be quite nice. It's just... And you're probably wondering, why have you got bear form on? This was what I had when I was mucking about on my bear thing. So it doesn't have the right conduits in. So don't be like trying to copy that. Obviously, put them conduits into them. But it's okay. It's very much okay. Personally, I would go for the Knife of the Mastery. But yeah. And then we are going to go and talk about... we're going to talk about stats, actually. I was going to talk about rotation, but we're going to go to stats because I'm going to look at the rotation. I'm going to go and hit a dummy. Now, dummies are very much like meh, and the Night Fae dummies, like when I convoke, I hit all of them. So it's one of my pet peeves. I think, I get it, but like it's a dummy. I think the game should be like, oh, this is a dummy, don't put whatever on that, but whatever. In stat-wise, you want to be running Agility, Crit, Mastery, Burst, Haste. Do not copy my stats, guys. My stats are wrong at the minute. And you're probably wondering, if your stats are wrong, then why are you talking about this? Why are you making a video? I used to be a Guardian Druid. So I am stacked to the nines with Verse gear. Hence why I've got 23% Versed and I've got 33% Mastery. My Mastery should be a lot higher. My Crit is getting up there because I'm slowly changing the gear up. But... yeah, sim yourself and prioritize crit mastery gear when you can get it. I'm slowly in the process of changing out some gear and whatnot, but yeah, I quite like my gear though. I quite like the verse. It's just versatility is a bog standard DPS increase and it makes you less squishy, so I quite like it. But I am going to be looking to get into the 40 to 50% mastery once I switch out some gear, because I still need to replace my pants. I still need to replace my shoulders, not my shoulders. Yeah, I'm looking to replace my rings basically, my boots, my legs, and hopefully, touch wood, my weapon, and my neck. But yeah, it goes agility, crit, mastery, verse, haste. If you want to run like I am, verse, crit, that's fine. You get more damage out. You convoke the spirits because like you do more damage with your bites. That's absolutely fine. Like I'm quite comfortable with where my character stats are at the minute in regards to my Night Fae build. But I am very centered around Night Fae. If I go to Necrolord, I've got some rings. I've got some like verse mastery. I've got more things, and I just switch out the odd bit of gear, and then I just get that little bit more mastery. Bear in mind that the Necrolord gives you a bog standard boost of 120 mastery. So this mastery by going Night Fae Necrolord, my God, Necrolord alone, I got to about 42%. Mastery. So if you're sitting on a bog standard like 45% mastery and then you go Necrolord, you're going to be going to about 60 or 50% which is really nice, especially for Necrolord. So just bear in mind with what I said with builds, Night Fae, Covenants and stuff like that, and then justify what stats you want, but always sim yourself, guys. Always sim yourself. And now we're going to talk about Rotation. Rotation is... Feral is a pretty easy one. It's pretty easy in regards to... we don't have many cooldowns. Now, I am my M plus build, and you probably you know that this is a PvP talent, so just ignore that. Well, ignore that, and ignore that because that's PvP as well. So you want to do what you want to do is you always want to be stealthed, because when you're stealthed, your shred deals 60% increased damage, has double the chance to critically strike, and generates 1 additional point, which is nice. Or then when you rake, also stun the target. Basically, I always open with a shred. I very, very rarely in M plus open with a rake, purely because nothing really needs to be stunned straight away. Like maybe if the tank's pulled and then someone's casting, like say you're in mist and you've got one of them, them tenders like casting something, then I would open up with a rake, because then you would need that stun straight away to interrupt that, and you also gain the benefits of bleed and whatnot. So then I would. It's niche. It's niche is what I'm saying. Opening up with a rake is when and if you need it. You should never be opening up with a rake just every time, because you don't need it. When you need the stun opener, then use it. Apart from that, you open up with a shred. Now, I open up, always like target behind, I open up with a shred, I will then roar, I will then proc my trinket, I will then rake, I will then put my bleed on, I will then enable my berserk, and then I will convoke. Now, obviously this is, you know, it's hitting other things. But once I've got my things, I will just keep shredding now and reapplying my bleeds. And then that's all I am doing. That's all I'm doing. Like, this is pretty nice. It's nice and calm. Once your roar comes back up, you use your roar and whatnot. I've got moments of clarity there, so I'm just shredding. I'm just literally shred, bite, shred, bite. Keep your bleeds on your main targets. If this is AoE, you can tab target a little bit if you want to. That is absolutely fine. I'm going to stop that, and that is the rotation. That is it, guys. That is your single target rotation. You spam, shred, you keep your thrash, you keep your rake on, and you keep your rip on them. That is pretty much it. Now, like, we'll look at this. My Frenzied Assault. That is my legendary. My Sickle of the Lion. That is my forset. Frenzy was from Convoke, but the Rake Dots, the Rip Dots, the Melee, the Moonfire was from Convoke. The Ferocious Bite, some was from Convoke, some was not. Now what you want to be looking for is the crit chance here is 50%, and my max crit that I did was 45k. That's what I have done more. I think the biggest crit I've done, I had Bloodlust. I had Bloodlust on me. I had PI. I had a warrior in the group, so I had the attack power. I had a pot, an agility pot. I used my trinket. I use this trinket because it's one of the best as well, guys. Purely because the bog standard crit that you get and the agility that you get in every 1 minute. You know, I ended up doing like an 89 crit. Ferocious Bite, which was absolutely ridiculous. And you're probably thinking that can't be all the rotation, and that generally is all the rotation. The only time you mix it up really and you use swipe is when you're in AoE. You know, it deals 20% increased damage against bleeding targets, so you'll make sure you've got your thrash out. Your thrash is the first one that applies the bleed. Then you will swipe. You can, if you want, you can put rake on them. It's totally up to you. You know, it's totally up to you. You just, you know, like usually I would be using a macro for this, but yeah, that's about it. And you just keep that rip on, and then you keep using in AoE as well. You keep using Primal Wrath. Yeah. As you finish it, that's it. The rotation is really simple. It's really simple. It's really easy to learn, and once you get the hang of it, to get the most out of it. Like I would be a lot quicker in my rotation, but this is purely just for showing you. Usually I'm like F. I don't even look at my keyboard. I'm just like R for berserk, F, and whatever. Your bar skin is, I always use bar skin on cooldown because it's a 1 minute, so it's absolutely lovely. And then regrowth is shift 5. You get that pretty much all the time. And if you've got me, I've got voodoo, I can just click it. But when it's procced, it's an insta proc, so it's absolutely lovely. Apart from that, that's about it in terms of DPS. From what I've been doing in a group, in a really good group where the tank's pulling everything, because like you're a feral druid, you excel in big AoE and single target. You know, so if you've got all your cooldowns and everything when you go into a boss, you can do about 11 to 14k on a boss, easy. More if obviously you get buffs and whatnot. The most I've done on a boss is about 15k, and there was Bloodlust, and I cheekily got a PI. And in regards to AoE, the biggest AoE pull I have done was about 65k. And that was just literally, that was in Gambit. And that was just me churning out whatever. And it was absolutely brilliant because Feral Druids at the minute, we are off meta. We are off meta. But we are by far not shit. I've been in groups where I've been finally invited and they've been like, oh, it's a feral, and I've been like, oh, come on, like keep me in. Like, no, yeah, we're fine, but you know, feral. And then halfway through the key, every one of the guys have gone, holy fucking shit, feral's good. Like, what the fuck's going on here? And you're just like, ha ha, feral. Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's absolutely it. It is a bit of a long video. I do appreciate and I do apologise for the length, but I said I wanted to go for the basics, but I kind of just waffled on a little bit there, so I do apologise. I hope you found it useful. Leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel if only if you want to, but it helps. It really does help, and I do appreciate every like and every comment and every subscription that I get to my channel. So thank you very much. I would like to thank all the guys that have supported me thus far. You guys are amazing. Apart from that, more videos to come, guys, so keep an eye on the channel. And as always, I wish you all the best of luck and whatnot in your endeavours in life. Average Shaman out. Thank you for watching, guys.